evangelism started last fall when we did a series with Brian McMahon, and we knew we were going to do a spring one. Something came together. It was the Holy Spirit that was moving about 3 or 4 people actually, who brought together the idea of having the youth and young adults do the evangelistic series.
He talked to the rest of us pastors, and being one of the youth leaders here, I said, let's do this.
I was very excited. I was thinking to myself, finally someone is doing this.
So I was really excited. I thought it would be super cool and finally go get the youth involved.
I was very surprised. I was kind of confused because I've never heard of it before. I thought it was really interesting that all the youth were going to be preaching instead of any pastors.
I thought it was a super good idea. This is what our youth need to get into, because a lot of the time churches don't do outreach, we just stay in our little circle.
So we did a training weekend in February where we just invited anybody that had any interest in coming together to do an evangelistic series to come to the training. And it didn't matter if they wanted to speak or wanted to be an usher or a greeter or a registration person or whatever. We just wanted everybody to show up. And Bill McClendon and I pulled off the training weekend where we taught some basic principles of preaching.
I know that must sound intimidating, but it was actually really fun. It was chill, and we really enjoyed it.
We would break up into groups, 3 or 4 groups, and we would practice the preaching. We made a call for whoever wanted to speak to come in and say, yes, I want to speak. I thought we were going to end up with 4, 5, 6, 7 kids that would want to do a sermon, and I thought I would end up having to do the rest of them. And when we ended up with 25 or so people that wanted to speak, we were just blown away. As it was, we ended up running out of sermons to give away in the 24 sermons that are being preached.
We had weekly practices on Tuesdays, which was a lot of fun to go see our friends, and we evaluated them.
We would talk about preaching principles, and we would practice things. We did icebreaker things that would make them express their voice and project it. Mission Creek is a self-supporting boarding school up in northwestern Washington. We said, why don't you guys come down and help us? And they said, we would love to.
As far as the advertising for the evangelistic series, again, lead pastor Roger didn't skimp on that. Some people might have said, hey, this is a youth-led evangelistic series. Let's just do part of what we normally do. He used the normal budget and threw everything he had at it. Actually, this time we did several radio ads that I haven't seen us do for the last couple of years, so that was cool. We handed out brochures door to door in some communities. We also tried to advertise on Spotify, but that didn't quite fly. Hey, you do what you can, and God blesses. So.
So the first day I wasn't quite nervous, but I was getting there when I showed up at church. And it was really nice to see all my friends there to support me, and as other church members started to come in, and I really was wow, this is so cool, people are coming out to support us. And then people I didn't know started to show up, and then I started to get scared.
My grandparents were here, and we were very excited to show our grandparents what we were doing.
Noah and I were announcing, so we walk onto the stage and we say,
good evening, everyone. My name is Noah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Papa.
We want to welcome you tonight to the Discovery Prophecy.
I was yay, it's finally here. After all these months of preparation, it's finally here.
When I saw T and Summer preaching, it was wonderful to see God working through young people.
I have seen God work through this. This one guy, he was from a Baptist church, and he was talking about how he was really surprised that a bunch of children were doing this and preaching and stuff.
I've learned that public speaking can be fun, and sometimes it's okay if you make mistakes, and use that as a lesson to move forward.
Today at church we had 4 baptisms coming out of the series, and it's just super exciting seeing these people that we've seen every night that have been coming, and then to see them get baptized and join our church family.
I was really feeling God in the church, and it's a wonderful feeling when you're able to really see God working through your friends.
It's just been awesome, and it's amazing to know that God used me as part of this.